Hi y'all, how are we today? And welcome back to my channel. Today is going to be a beautiful little speed build of the, I think it's called the Sad Simsie Shell challenge that she recently posted. So because it's a Sad Simsie Shell, I opted to make it Little Simsie or Kayla's dream house. So if you don't know what Simsie's dream house is one, it's completely on a diagonal, clearly, as you can see here. The entire house is on a diagonal. It was an absolute blast. I did rotate it from the original shell, which is totally fine. We're completely allowed to rotate it. If you've never seen any of Lil Simsie's shell challenges, I think this is the 5th one that she's done. This is the only one that's been completely on a diagonal, which was quite a challenge, I have to say. The first challenge I ran into is right here with this window. It was really strange. I don't know why it didn't want to place. I think it said it couldn't intersect with the walls, which was interesting because it's a window, so its entire existence needs to intersect with walls. But it was really strange. I think the problem solved itself later on. I didn't really do anything, but so I spent quite some time figuring out exactly what I wanted the outside to look like. The only thing that I knew is that it needed to be a blue Suburban, because a blue Suburban is Simsie's thing. I mean, she just does them. Everything she does is a blue Suburban. But I wanted to make it a little bit more interesting, so I added some stone work to different aspects of it just to make it a little bit more interesting. And then of course there are porches, because no house is complete without some beautiful porches on the front and the back. But yeah, this was quite an interesting build to work on. I've never done a house that's almost completely on a diagonal, and you know, I don't know if I want to do it again. It was quite a lot of work, honestly. The proportions of it are really strange. So the house itself is fairly small. Like if you look at it, it looks small from the outside, but because it's on a diagonal, everything is actually a little bit bigger, because rather than them being squares, everything is in, I guess, a diamond shape, and the width of those diamonds is larger than the width of their respective square. So it makes it a little bit bigger and also kind of strangely proportioned. But now I'm working on what was going to be a small back porch, and I don't think it was possible to make that just a square, but it ended up working to my advantage because I had that one section that was on a straight line, like straight onto the square grids. And in The Sims 4, you can't place stairs on a diagonal. You can only place them straight on the squares, which is kind of silly, I have to admit, but it is what it is. So it actually ended up working out because I was able to lift the house up on a higher foundation, because the front and the back porches both had one section that was straight on the square grids, so I could put stairs on. Which, if you watched Lil Simsie's build of her own Sad Simsie Shell challenge, you saw that she could not put her house up on a taller foundation because of the way that she placed her house, and she wanted the entrance of her house to be on a diagonal, and therefore she could not place stairs. So I win. I put stairs. It just so happened, somehow magically. I wasn't actually expecting that. I didn't anticipate the back porch being straight on the square grids, so that I would be able to actually put stairs and raise it up on a foundation. But hey, it all worked out. So now I'm moving on to the landscaping, and for some reason I was really feeling the landscaping. I don't really know why, but I don't usually feel landscaping, but I was feeling it. Oh, and here, so I actually took, these are technically actually like Lego bricks, I think. Like they're a debug object from Parenthood. They're like Lego bricks. But I thought that the diamond pattern on the top of them was actually a really nice, like almost like brick paver material or texture. So I sized them up a little bit and made them like kind of just like a little pathway liner to the front entrance of the house. And I actually really liked it. I don't know if it looks kind of ridiculous because they're technically like a Lego brick, but I thought it looked really nice. So now I'm just scrolling through the debug menu as I do, and I pulled out a bunch of random objects to put around the house. If you are using debug objects, I would highly recommend just pulling everything out all at once, because you can't use the eyedropper tool on debug objects, which definitely sucks, but they're not like real objects in the game, so it makes sense that you can't use the eyedropper tool. So I always recommend bringing out all of them all at once. It's just easier that way, because it is so easy to get lost in the debug menu and you just have absolutely no idea what you are looking for or where it is, and you could just never find it again. It's like everyone when they're playing The Sims 1 now and they're looking for the wallpapers, but you can't just copy it, and so you have to try to find it again, and it's completely impossible. It's the same way in the debug menu of The Sims 4. It's really no different. So I pulled out all of that, and now I'm moving on to the backyard, and I made this little, I guess it's a patio area in the back of the yard, and I made it pretty small at first, but I do end up extending it, making it just a little bit larger, because in Simsie's dream home, she deserves a beautiful large back patio area for all of her fun Simsie things that she does, whatever it may be. There are quite a few little surprises in here that are very Little Simsie inspired, so I hope that you guys appreciate the effort that I put into this build. It took me quite some time to do it. I end up taking a break after finishing, I think, the backyard before I go into the interior, because I had spent so much time not only on the roofing but also on the landscaping and just figuring out what kind of floor plan I was going to go with, because this entire house was pretty much on a diagonal. How I was going to get that to actually work at the end of the day, because The Sims 4 is just not meant to have anything on a diagonal, honestly. Even though the diagonals exist, just no items are ever seem to be intended for the use of being put on a diagonal, which is kind of frustrating, but you know, it is what it is, because like I said earlier, the diamond shape, the diagonal, is just a little bit wider than the square, so everything doesn't fill up as much space as it does when it's straight on. So I took a break after I finished the backyard, and now I'm going into the interior, and you can see just like my little conglomeration of random debug objects that I have sitting around. And I ran into this really interesting bug where that one little notebook, my game said that it couldn't find the object, which I had never experienced that glitch or that bug before. So I don't know like where it came from or if it had something to do with that specific object or whatever, so I just kind of built the kitchen around it and figured I would just deal with it later, and it all ended up working out in the end. Later on I ended up just saving and exiting from the game, and I came back in and it was gone, like it was never even there. And it also happened to fix my window issue that I was having at the beginning of the build, so it all worked out in the end. So if you ever run into that problem in your game where a random object, if you can't move it or you can't delete it, it says can't find object, or I think when I was trying to move it, it said that the object didn't exist or something, and of course I'm sitting there staring at my screen like it exists because I'm literally staring at it. You were wrong, but the way to solve that apparently is just to save and exit. So there I had saved and exited and it was magically gone. And so now I'm just kind of cluttering up the kitchen, making it look super lived in. You can see all of those like papers and stuff and all the stuff I'm putting on the fridge. All of that is from debug. I think it just makes a house look so much more, lived in. It's really literally the word I just used, but you know, it is what it is. But yeah, so everything is going pretty well, except that you can see that the kitchen counters don't fit on the diagonal very well. I ended up putting a smaller one in between to fill the gap, and you can see in the top cabinets I put a tiny little shelf there to connect the gap between the top shelves, because like I said, things in The Sims 4 are just not meant to go on a diagonal, which is definitely kind of frustrating because I thought that was a good little nook to put the kitchen in, but it just isn't really set up to be diagonal. And oh my gosh, now the stairs. Let me tell you, I probably spent like half an hour on these stairs trying to figure out where to put them because it was just not working. That section and the second floor, the stone section, I really wanted that section to be part of the office because I just liked the setup of it, I guess, the way that it looked. So I had to kind of put the stairs around where I wanted that to be. But it was really difficult because pretty much anywhere I put the stairs, it kind of messed with something else. So, I mean, the place that they are now, I don't know if I'm super happy with where the stairs ended up being put, but I think it made the most sense with the floor plan that I was looking for. It ended up working out just fine, but you know, I think there might have probably been better places to put it if I wasn't so determined to use that section as an office. I think that the first place I had them could have been ideal. It's just kind of frustrating because every place that you put the stairs and everywhere everything was happening, it was just kind of awkward because there's so many random angles in this house because it is on a diagonal. So it just made things a little difficult. So little Simsie knew what she was doing when she made this show because it was a struggle and a half. Let me tell you, do not build houses on a diagonal. It's not worth it. I know it looks cute and you think you're all like, ooh, I'm so creative. No, don't do it. It's too hard. It's just such a pain. Nothing fits and nothing works. I made this front area the dining room, which I probably could have put it somewhere else, but I thought that once again, this was a lovely little nook for a dining room, and I wanted to save the section near the back door for the living room. But the downstairs area was just so big that I decided to move the back door and create sort of like a smaller bedroom because I felt like there was just way too much space downstairs. I had always intended on putting a bathroom down there, but it was just going to be a half bath. But even with just a half bath, like there's so much space. Like I didn't even know what to fill it with. So I cut off some of it and made it into a small bedroom. And then instead of having a half bath, I believe I put a full bath in to make up for some of that space. So now I'm just putting in some random clutter objects around to make it look lived in, like I've said many times. All those ebook objects that I pulled out earlier in the build, I'm now kind of scattering around throughout the house. And so now I'm moving on to the living room, which I knew from the beginning that I wanted this section to be the living room because it overlooks the backyard. And it has a large wall that can be used for, I guess, the TV. So originally I was trying to see if I could move those windows further apart to make space to put a TV on the wall rather than have to put it on, I guess, a coffee table. But because once again, it's on a diagonal, they don't sit the way that they would normally sit on a straight on wall. So that was fun. Once again, the diagonal wall strikes again. So because I was so frustrated, I used Simsie's favorite pack for the couch. She knows. I mean, she knew what she was doing. She knew she made it difficult. So I made it difficult by putting my first pet stuff in here. I'm just kind of figuring out where I want to put all of the decorations, and because this is Simsie's dream house, of course there's plenty of stuff for Snapcat in here because Snapcat deserves the best. So there's beds and play sections. She has like 3, maybe 4 cat trees around the house, so Snapcat's living at large. They're all over the place. There's the one in the backyard, there's the one in the living room, and then I think there's also one in the office. And now I'm just placing the curtains, and you can peep the garlic wreath above the, I guess it's technically the sink or the counter or whatever, because we all know how much Simsie loves vampires. So I skipped over the downstairs bathroom. It's really simple. It just has a shower and a toilet and a sink, like pretty much every other bathroom in the world does. And now I'm moving on to the downstairs bedroom, and I imagine that this could be like the bathroom where Simsie or Kayla's sister stays when she comes to visit. I mean, I don't think that she really, I don't think she does come to visit. I mean, I believe that Kayla lives very close to her family in Florida, but I needed another bedroom, so this is now going to be her younger sister Shanna's bedroom. I think her name is Shanna. Ooh, I hope I'm not wrong. That would be really awkward. But it's pretty simple. There's a lot of Sims stuff. I know that she plays The Sims 3 a lot, and recently got into The Sims 4. So there is quite a few little Sims memorabilia in this room for her. I put down one of what I believe is one of the mood lights that comes from The Sims 3, the plumb bob shaped mood lights, and then of course the Baby Yoda statue, because it's called the child statue in the game and it's her younger sister, so I felt like it was appropriate. But yeah, I think that's pretty much all that I did in there. Just some little bits and bobs around. And now moving upstairs into the office. So I wanted to put the YouTube or desk thing from Get Famous right in that little nook. And I knew that from the beginning, so I based everything around that, which was probably my downfall. But I very, very, very loosely based it on the background of Simsie's YouTube video. So she has that little like square bookshelf cubby thing like everyone does with some little lights on it, and then there's clutter around it. And I put one of those like neon signs because I feel like everyone has one of those little neon signs and whatnot. So I did change it from that ridiculous purple color to a whiter color in game, of course, because that color is kind of extreme and I'm not sure how I feel about it. So I hope everyone is doing well. How is everyone's Animal Crossing Islands coming along? I know mine is going swimmingly. I'm actually thinking I'm going to post a video at like the end of the month, on like the last day of March, of me trying to get all of the fishes that are the fish that are the limited edition ones, like only for March, for like the release of the game. I have to look up what they actually are, but I keep hearing that people are trying so desperately to get all of the fish before this month is over. So I think I'm going to try to do something like that. I don't actually know if I've caught any of them because I haven't looked up any of these fish that are supposedly the like limited edition fish. So I guess we'll just have to find out. And if I haven't caught any of them, well, then I guess it will make for a great video of me just literally fishing in Animal Crossing literally all day long and hoping for the best. I do find that in Animal Crossing, I just keep catching the same darn fish over and over again. Like, if I catch one more horse mackerel, I'm gonna lose my mind. I mean, I swear, I can't. I've caught so many freaking horse mackerels. It's crazy. Like, how are there that many horse mackerels in the ocean? And sea bass? Oh my god, don't even get me started on sea bass. It's ridiculous. Anyway, now moving on to Simsie's bedroom, and I mean, I'm gonna be perfectly honest, I don't really know that much about lilsimsie / Kayla, other than the fact that she loves her cat, and she's a YouTuber, and she's fairly young. I think her favorite color is yellow, but that could be a complete and utter lie, so please don't take my word for that. I really don't actually know, but I think it's yellow, and she recently did an all green house, so there's quite a lot of green in here. And I do know her joke about how moms hate dinosaurs or whatever. I think it's dinosaurs. Oh god, I hope it's dinosaurs, because I put dinosaurs in this house. So we'll just have to find out. But I'm pretty sure it's that moms hate dinosaurs, so there's a couple dinosaurs around. There's a couple other little surprises around here and there that I don't think you'll be able to see in this video, which is what I wanted, for it to just be a surprise. And I did check and make sure that they can get around the bed, because I was skeptical myself. It's pretty tight, but they can get around the bed and into the bathroom. I did skip over the bathrooms because bathrooms are boring and I just don't feel like filming them. I don't want these videos to be so long, so I cut out the non-important parts. So now I'm just going through and putting in some final touches. I needed to put a rat in the house. I mean, if anyone watches Simsie's 100 Baby Challenge, she's on like, what, Ratsley 11, 12? I don't know, but she needed to have a Ratsley in her own house. But now we're coming up on the screenshots, so I hope that y'all enjoyed. You have a great day, and I will talk to y'all soon. Bye!